Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So let's get into this topic here. As you guys know, there's been some rumors out there that ESPN is going to have some shakeups, that there are going to be some layoffs. And as a matter of fact, they already started laying off a lot of people. And once that information started coming out, a lot of us started to speculate, well, who are these people that are going to be laid off? Who are these people that are going to be losing their jobs? Well, it looks like today another shoe has dropped. And we're now finding out today, and I'm actually getting this information via, SISportsIllustrated.com, that ESPN is going to be canceling one of his major shows, morning radio shows, which is Keyshawn, Max, and Jay Williams, the morning show. Actually, funny enough, this is a morning show that I like. Is usually the first bit of content that I usually watch every morning. I like the trio of these guys. So it's a shame that they're going to be canceling this show today. So we actually want to get into this article and read a little bit of what it had to say. But before we get into this article, this video is brought to you by sponsor Aura, who's also the official sponsor of the T-Wolves. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is today? It's identity theft. Imagine trying to log into your email only to see that your password has been changed. Then you start getting weird notifications from your bank and credit cards, only to find out that all of your personal and sensitive information has been totally compromised. If you think it can happen to you and your family, just know that in 2020, over 49 million Americans were victims to identity theft, costing them a combined $56 billion. That is why we are excited to partner with Aura, who's the sponsor of this video. Aura is the #1 identity theft and financial fraud protection. Aura monitors the dark web and alerts you if any of your passwords and accounts have been breached. And funny enough, after using Aura, I discovered some of my credentials were floating around in the dark web, and the app showed me exactly when and where the breach happened. In addition, Aura allows you to set spending alerts, and they'll notify you of any suspicious transactions. Aura is 4 times faster than any of its competitors in alerting you if someone is trying to open a credit card or obtain a loan using your name. And remember this, every 14 seconds, someone becomes a victim of identity fraud. Don't let it happen to you. Now click the link in the description and try Aura for free for 2 weeks and see if any of you or your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial at aura.com/dreamerspro. And when you try Aura, by using the link in the description below, also know that you're supporting this channel. Thank you. So let me get into this article. It says, as part of a large-scale company restructuring, ESPN is reportedly canceling its national morning radio show featuring Max Kellerman, Keyshawn Johnson, and Jay Williams, according to Andrew Marchand of the New York Post. The network is also expected to undergo significant on-air layoffs in the weeks to come. The decision does not mean that the trio will not still be with the company, though Marchand speculates that Kellerman's high salary might put him in jeopardy. Johnson also signed a 4-year, $18 million deal with ESPN last year. It's possible that should Johnson leave ESPN, he could join Fox, which has an opening on his debate show Undisputed for co-host opposite Skip Bayless following the departure of fellow former NFL star Shannon Sharpe. Williams' contract is set to expire at the end of this summer. Layoffs for on-air talent expected to begin by the end of June. The cuts will be made with the aim of saving behind-the-scenes jobs and hitting financial goals set by Disney, ESPN's parent company. Now, while reading this article, a lot of thoughts just came to me. While I was reading that, the thought just occurred, man, what about Jay Williams and Skip Bayless? I never thought about that pairing. Now, I knew Jay Williams' contract was going to be expiring in 3 weeks, a few weeks back, but what about Jay Williams and Skip Bayless? Jay Williams is a LeBron guy. I don't know if Jay Williams knows football as much. I don't know. But as I'm reading this article, the thought just came to me. So you heard what the article had to say, that they're getting rid of that show. Now, there are a lot of things. There are a lot of moving parts currently at ESPN. Let's discuss the big elephant in the room, which is Pat McAfee. As you guys know, Pat McAfee just signed, I believe, oh my goodness, is it a $80 million deal or something like that with ESPN? But the Pat McAfee show is going to be on ESPN. I actually saw the video where he published this on his channel, where he kind of took us behind the scenes. So a lot of people are probably speculating, well, if ESPN doesn't have all of this money, how are they bringing on a mammoth like Pat McAfee? So that's one thing. Yesterday, I was listening to Marcellus Wiley, and Marcellus Wiley was talking about Shannon Sharpe. And Marcellus Wiley, who's also plugged in, he said that he is speculating that Shannon Sharpe may sign with FanDuel. Now, FanDuel was originally the company that was sponsoring Pat McAfee, the Pat McAfee show, and I think they had him on a $120 million deal. I mean, a lot of money, just cuckoo stuff, right? These guys are making major paper, and Marcellus Wiley is speculating that maybe Shannon Sharpe may go out there to fill that void, because apparently these guys have a lot of money that they want to spend to go out there and go after these guys. In the case of Keyshawn, Max Kellerman, and Jay Williams, it just shows you where this thing is going, which is, I don't even know where, to be honest with you. There's so many moving parts. I'm learning so much every single day. It really looks like the sports media landscape is going through a lot of changes. I think that a lot of these bigger companies now are going to have to modify the way that they do things. I think a lot of these personalities are beginning to see that, hey, there's probably more money working off of television than there is on TV, which is really, really, really surprising. So if you're in the sports media space and if you have a great show, a great podcast to go with that. And by the way, speaking of a podcast, we'll be launching our Dreamerspro podcast this week or next week. We're going to be launching our podcast, so make sure you guys follow the Dreamerspro podcast. So it seems like if you have a podcast, if you have a booming show that's getting a lot of views, that has a strong following, it seems like you can be eligible to be one of these guys that gets gobbled up by these bigger companies, where they can try to bring you into their, bring you under their umbrella, where they can offer you these major contracts. I think that Max Kellerman is aware of the writing on the wall. He sees what these guys are doing. He sees the fact that Stephen A. Smith has his show. Obviously, he sees what Shannon Sharpe is doing. He saw what Skip Bayless is doing. He saw what so many guys are doing. All of these guys have their own shows that they're doing. They have their own podcasts. It seems like the podcast game now is the next big play. And I think what's going to end up happening is that these bigger companies are now going to have to go out there and compete for for this talent, right? They're going to have to go out there and compete. If Shannon Sharpe, think about it. If Shannon Sharpe could make, 7-8 figures a year, not working on Undisputed, why the hell would you go back on television? But I recently heard Shannon Sharpe put out a post where he said that he told his supporters that he'll be back on television in the morning pretty soon. Obviously, we don't know what capacity that may be. Some people have speculated that, hey, maybe he'll go out there and work with ESPN because maybe they're filling out the spot. I don't know, right? I don't know what's going to happen, but it seems like there's a lot of movement, and it's showing you that this is probably the best time to go independent, right? Because the landscape is changing. The landscape is changing with Disney, deciding to cut back, and they're trying to trim some of the fat and make sure that, they hit their KPIs and, hit their targets or whatever it is. Most of these guys that are signed to them, they're going to be the ones that are going to take the biggest hit. And the guys that have those big salaries are the ones that most likely they're going to go in. But then, of course, there'll be some people that will say, but wait a minute, Pat McAfee. Well, how many Pat McAfees are there out there? So obviously, when you have a situation like that, you're going to make an exception. So to me, man, I think a lot of us saw this coming. It'll be very, very interesting to see what Max Kellerman does. Will he probably get an offer to work at Fox? Well, who knows, right? Who knows? But it's definitely a lot of movement. I think Shannon Sharpe was the first big shoe to drop. And now it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens over the next few months. But I think the sports media space landscape is in a great place. And I think now more than ever is the best time to really get into the business if you're good and you're willing to put in the work and really grow and learn. So these are my thoughts. What I want to know from you guys, what do you think about this report? What do you think Max Kellerman lands? What do you think Keyshawn lands? And what do you think Jay Williams lands? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comments, and we'll catch you on the next show.